Welcome to Mediumship Moments with psychic medium Kim Durham. Join her as she shares her personal journey with mediumship, connects with your loved ones, and discusses topics dealing with spirituality.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Durham. I'm your host for Mediumship Moments, and I am thrilled to have a host today, Jack Ciapciak, who is, I know I did that pretty well. I've had practice, folks, because this is our second go through. Sometimes I prove I'm human on a daily basis, and I forgot to hit record. So we're gonna do this again. Anyway, I am thrilled to have Jack with me. He is an amazing man that I got to meet on TikTok. He shares his grief journey over his fiance, who ironically is named Jack as well. And I reached out to him, I think maybe in February, about just wanted to give him a big hug. I was drawn to your energy. I was drawn to your story about how your fiance, Jack, had crossed suddenly. And then what life was like with a person in your life who shared the same name, which Kim and I share the same name. And, that's kind of fun sometimes. And then hell when you talk to an insurance company. So, Jack, you were chatting with me about this earlier, and we'll pick it up from there where you, I wanted to introduce you first. You've worked in television, you're a playwright, you live in New York City, and if you could just give me a brief background about Jack and you.
Absolutely. So I met Jack when we were 23 years old, living in New York after college. We were set up by two friends who were both named Kate. So the two Kates set up the two Jacks.
Love two Kates.
And we love the two Kates. I'm very grateful for them. And we went on pretty much a blind date. And I think that first night we both knew it was something
Where'd
special.
you go on your blind date?
We went to a bar named Finnerty's that was in the East Village.
Okay.
And it unfortunately closed during the pandemic, but they've just reopened in a new location. So I'm hoping to get there and check out the new spot soon.
Okay.
But we met for beers, and it was instant. I fell for him that first night.
Wow.
And
it was love at first sight. You felt that chemistry.
I really did. And I think we told each other we loved each other 2 weeks later.
Really?
We never really had a second date too. So we went on that first date, and then that Saturday I was hanging out with my brother and some of his friends at a bar and invited Jack to come by, and he came, and we ended up spending the whole afternoon together, and he met my brother and all these friends. And from that moment on, we were together, and we shared 7 incredible years together. We grew up together. We were building our careers and our lives in New York City, and he helped me, achieve so many of my dreams. I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. And I was so proud of what he achieved too. And finally, in September of 2022, I proposed to him with a bench in Hudson River Park. And it was a perfect night, and he said yes. And we were starting to plan our wedding. We had picked a wedding date, booked the venue. And then on Christmas Eve, 2022, Jack passed suddenly. He had a heart condition that he was unaware of. And it rattled my entire world. Everything came, falling apart.
Well, first off, thank you for sharing that. I mean, and like I said, I was drawn to your energy and your story about Jack. And I thought, how, you propose and you have all of these aspirations about what your life is going to be like. And it comes to just a screeching halt.
Right.
And then how do you then manage what we were doing and shoulda and coulda to what my reality looks like, and that journey through grief, I mean, what was that first, if I may, 6 months like?
Terrible. The one good thing about the first 6 months is I think I was in complete shock. The reality of what was happening hadn't really set in. And I was surrounded by friends and family who were checking in constantly. And I had a huge support system. I went back to work fairly quickly. I was working for the TV show Blue Bloods at the time. And my boss had said, take all the time you need. But I kind of thought it might be good to have the distraction and to, try to maintain some normalcy.
Did you bury yourself in work, do you think?
I think those first few months I did, just the nature of what I was doing, I was writing an episode at the time and then prepping the episode and shooting the episode. So it is all consuming. And I do think that that was a good distraction for me at the time. And everyone there, I'd worked on the show at that point for 7 years. And so it was like a family and they
Yeah.
were also supportive. And there were days when I would be having a bad day and I'd have to leave set for a bit and everyone understood and was so supportive and incredible to me. So I was grateful to have that. But the first 6 months were awful. And the hardest part was giving up the future I thought we'd share. And I think that's something that isn't talked about a ton in grief. You're not only grieving the person you loved in the past and all those memories, you're grieving your future. And I
Right.
found that to be the most difficult thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly. So many people are, you pivot and now you talk about your new reality, but you're grieving
Yeah.
many things. You're grieving the loss of your fiance, you're grieving the loss of the future that you have, and then
Mhm.
having to go through the steps personally and professionally over grief. And I had, talked about this sometimes in the Rainbow Nation. Our
Mhm.
grief is seen as less than. And because there isn't the appreciation of what our relationships are like. And to me, it's, we get the mail and we put the trash out and we, write the bills out. And, some of us rear children, but when you share a life with somebody and have that god awful day happen to you, how do you pick up and move on? And people are like, well, have you gone to therapy? Are you, because this journey, right, has been now 2 years. And so some people are probably saying to you, Jack, well, shouldn't he be further along? And shouldn't he be doing this? And everybody has their own idea of what you should be doing in your life.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons I turned to TikTok. It had been 2 years and people were checking in maybe a little less with me, but the grief was still the first thing I thought about in the morning when I woke up and the last thing I thought about before I went to bed. And I started to feel like a burden with some of my friends and family. And when my mother would call me and ask how I was doing, I didn't want to tell her if I was having a bad day because I knew it would ruin her day. So I chose to turn to TikTok because it felt easier to be vulnerable and share when I was having those tough emotions. It felt easier to share that with strangers than my own tribe.
Right.
So,
And what just absolute, I don't know, chutzpah for you to get on
yeah,
TikTok and open yourself up to that. Because,
thank you.
that's what was so endearing to me. Truly, that you started to take people on a journey, because not only is it just the grief or the grief also that you've opened up the world's eyes to what grief looks like in a gay relationship, and
Right.
and to me that's that, because like I had said, it's different. They kind of see us sometimes different, but grief is grief. The loss of someone
Mhm.
is the loss of someone. So you started this on the bench with Jack. Now,
Yes.
talk
Yes.
about, because I want to get from the proposal, like, was it the same
Yeah.
bench or the same
Yes.
location?
Yes. So the same bench. So I proposed with a plaque on the bench that said, "Jack, will you marry me? Love, Jack."
Oh,
And my plan originally was once we got married, I was going to change out the plaque to have our names and our wedding date. And I thought, this is a bench where we'll go for the rest of our lives and
oh,
remember that special night. And we both would take daily walks in Hudson River Park. It was a special place for us near our apartment. But when he passed, I thought, how am I ever going to go back to that bench again?
right. Like it
Because
holds such a special
yeah,
memory.
and it felt overwhelming. But I started to receive photos from friends who were going to visit the bench
Oh,
and
they
who were
were.
leaving flowers at the bench.
Oh,
So it was my friends who started to view the bench as a place to memorialize Jack and to go and sit and think about him and talk with him. So I was inspired by my people to get back to the bench. And the first time I went back, it was calming and peaceful, and it's right on the water. And I just realized, wow, this is my place to honor him. And so I swapped out the plaque with his name, the dates of his life, and a quote from one of his favorite movies,
Aw.
Never Been Kissed. And the quote is, "Find out who you are and try not to be afraid of it." And
Oh.
Jack loved that quote, and it's how he lived his life. He always said that once he came out and started living authentically, everything in his life fell into place. So I thought that that's the message he'd want people to see when they walked by and read his name. That's the message he'd want in the world.
I
So
think that is
yeah,
so. I am a hopeless, helpless romantic at heart. And what you've seriously, and what for
thank
you,
you.
Jack, to share that is just amazing. So that bench was a
Mhm.
point of joy, and now it helps you
Yes,
on the journey with grief.
it
And
does. It
and
does.
other people, and again, I looked a little bit uh,
Yeah, yeah.
at some of the things you'd done on TikTok, and
Mhm.
other people I think are cross posting being at your bench.
Yes. Yes, that's been the most incredible
Is
thing.
it?
So many people are going and visiting the bench and sending me videos and photos. And I go to the bench almost every day. I was there this morning with my coffee.
Aw.
It's kind of part of my routine. And almost every time I'm there now, someone stops. I see someone do a double take and they'll stop and say, "Oh, I saw one of your videos and
Ah.
it moved me." Or people will be coming to visit it themselves. So that's something I never anticipated, that people would take time out of their own lives to go and visit the bench and sit with their grief. I've had one woman wrote to me last Saturday was the 1 year passing of her father.
Oh.
And she said, "I spent the morning at the bench because it felt like this peaceful place where I could sit with my own grief." So it's become more than just my story, more than just Jack. For people have claimed this space as their own, and I absolutely love it. And it's been so moving.
Yeah, that I felt was, yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I felt so touching that
Mhm.
in his death, he is now helping people, and you both are, through this journey of grief.
Mhm.
And how this all came about is truly, remarkable. It really is. So,
Mm.
with your journey of grief, you have any do's or don'ts that you want to share?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing I've learned is everyone grieves differently. It's different for everyone. So when I post my videos or give advice, I always try to say, I'm not an expert. I'm just one man who's been grieving, and this is what's helped me, and I hope it helps you. But the do's, I think the most important thing for me especially in those early days, is letting yourself feel everything you're feeling. If you want to cry, let yourself cry. If you're angry, be angry. If you're sad, be sad. And then as time goes on, if you do have a moment of laughter or joy, embrace it and don't shy away from it. But I think just letting yourself feel everything is most important, because if you ignore it or you push it down, it's just going to come up to the surface later on. You have to face it eventually. So I think,
Yeah, as your
yeah,
mother-in-law said, it sits right by
yeah,
you. It's right by your side.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the sooner you embrace that, I think the better. So the biggest do I say is let yourself feel. And in terms of the don'ts, I'm hesitant to say anything because I feel as if those of us who are grieving, you deserve to do whatever you want to do. If you do, don't listen to anyone else. If there's something you want to do that's going to make you feel happy and give you a piece of joy in the time of your grief, then do it. And it's funny because I remember early on thinking, "Oh, I shouldn't go out with these friends invited me out to grab a drink tonight." And, "Oh, I shouldn't do that because people will think, oh, he's, already out and
Yeah,
about." And,
exactly.
people might judge that. So I found myself, censoring myself and not doing the things I did feel like I wanted to do because I was worried what other people would say or think. And I eventually got past
Yeah,
that. And
did you?
now I'm like, and now I'm like, if I see someone who recently lost someone and they're out and about living their life, I think good for them. If that's what they need to do, then I'm so happy they're doing it. So I think, the only don't is don't run away from your grief, because it will catch up and find you.
Now, and you touched upon a couple things there. The whole idea that
Yeah.
we have to live by the standards of what other people dictate of what the do's and don'ts are for grief. Like,
Right.
God forbid you go out with friends, you're seen smiling or laughing.
Right.
How
Right.
he just how could he do that? And I find that infuriating myself. If it brings you joy, do it. It's like my
Yes.
sentiment. Like I talk about filling your joy tank. If doing something brings you joy, do it. And it's not that you're running away from it. It's just that a little levity helps. And I tend to crack jokes when I do my mediumship. Truth be told, it lifts the energy of the room. It makes it easier for me to work. But in the same token, and it makes it easier for them to come through. But with your situation, getting out and about, doing and living life, if that brought you joy, do it. Now, you also, the whole, what other people think of me is none of my business. That just resonates like, oh, good on you for having that opinion, but this is my life. Did you work with any grief therapies or?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I found a grief psychologist here in New York that I started seeing, I think 2 weeks after Jack passed. So I found him right away and I instantly clicked with him.
Okay.
And he has helped. That has been the best thing I could have done. He's helped me so much the last 2 years. And I'm so glad I found someone that I clicked with immediately. I hear from other people, sometimes it takes a while to vibe with the right therapist, but he's been amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. But I do think everyone, just talking about it helps, whether that's with a therapist or you find a grief group or just with your support system if you can't get yourself into therapy, but just talking about it is so helpful.
Now I want to touch upon the therapist. I find that when people sit with me for my mediumship ability, that those that have worked with a therapist are easy to work with, quite honestly. I mean, and I tell people, therapists give you the tools to be able to manage those waves of grief that come at you, that you have no idea that you're going to get hit with.
Right.
For me, my dad crossing last year, it'll be a year and a couple of weeks. And I pick up his Eagles hat and boom, I have a misty moment. I have a sweatshirt for the Phillies that he loved to wear. If I put that on, that helps me feel like he's with me. But those misty moments come for sure. But the therapist gives you the tools to be able to manage those. And it's not a race in grief to get over it, to get through it. That's it. Soldier on, Jack. And it's 2 years and good to see that you're over him and moving on with your life. And it's like, how can somebody who I shared a life with and a love with and wanted to have a future with ever not be a part of my heart moving forward, right? What are the things that you have, if you could share a wave or something that you've, kind of keep Jack with you kind of thing that you do?
Right. A big thing for me is music. He loved music. And, shortly after he passed, I went through his Spotify account and I copied down all of his playlists and his favorited songs. And so I, spent those early days listening to all the music he loved. And I found that, very emotional. But now today I might be in an Uber or, on the subway listening to music on shuffle or in a bar and I hear a song come on that he loved. And that's when I have that misty moment. So I think, but there's a million little things every day that remind me of him. So it's, I feel like I'm constantly getting hit with the waves,
Right.
But I love it because, it makes me feel closer to him. And when I do hear the music or the other things, see the things that remind me of him, it feels like it's him saying hello.
Oh, so. I love that. I forget what Medium talked about. Is it a post-it from heaven? Might have been Laura, but do you feel his presence with you?
I do. I think I do. At least I try my hardest to.
Okay.
And I do feel as if the only reason I've survived the last 2.5 years has been because he's with me.
Can I ask you something? Do you have a cabinet that had the old albums in it? That's kind of like mid-century that Jack had?
I do.
Okay. And how would I know that?
I
Because
do.
I wrote that because he's telling me it.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
And hold
it's in
on.
my bedroom.
Yeah. I'm not
Oh
trying
my
to show
gosh.
off, but he's so here. It's not even funny. It has a white top, but it's tan. Does it kind of like look like that on profile?
It does. It
Okay.
does. Wow.
And it's a white top, or it has a type of.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. Okay. Wait. This is crazy. So we had a short white one in our
Yes.
apartment where the
Yes.
albums were held.
Yes.
Now today in my new home.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
It's in
good.
a mid-century taller bookcase in the bottom shelf.
Okay.
But the white one, that is where that's the one. He knew.
Okay. So I have Jack coming through
Wow.
to talk about this, and he's and I'm not trying to show off, but like I'm trying to interview you, and he's behind you going, tell him this, and I'm like, Jack, could I just get through that? Because we did at least like 8 minutes that I forgot to record, and then we had to redo this again, and and I'm sitting here trying to like ask you questions, and you keep, and we're going through this, and I'm like, and he won't be quiet. So can we chat with Jack for a little bit?
I would love that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's how your fiance comes through to me, is that I too play guitar badly. I'm a campfire player at best. So he's linking with me with music, and he's showing me that cabinet with the white top that you guys had. And that's how he's coming forward. Do you understand a Christina or a Tina connected to him?
Yes, my sister.
Okay, because he wants
Tina.
to send love
Her full
to
name's
her,
Christina.
thank her for everything that she's done. And he just has this, can I just say, big shit eating grin? Like he just has this, just this amazing grin. And he's like, and I just want to say like, hello, beautiful. Like and did you share? Yeah. Okay. Did you share the same place to get haircuts or something over?
We did.
Okay. Cause he's telling me, I love what you've done with your hair. I know that we went to the same barber or place to get cut. Is there a Sharon, a Shelley, or an SH sounding name? Shh. Shh. I don't know if it's over the haircut person.
Yeah.
Is your mom with an S or his mom with an S?
His mom is with an S.
Okay.
Susan.
Send love to mom. And I know Mother's Day was yesterday. Tell mom I love her. Is there a Peppy, a Pee-Pee, or where's that name come in? Like a dog, Peppy.
He had a cat growing up, Pouncer.
Pouncer. That dog's with that cat's with him. He's taking care of Pouncer on the other side. Yeah, lots of snacks, lots of treats. Hi, Jack. He goes, this is so cool. It's like I could hear a radio station and see a television station. Was he left-handed?
He was not left-handed, I don't think. I think, no, he wasn't.
Are you wearing something on your left wrist or left hand connected to him?
Almost every day I wear the watch that I proposed to with him.
Okay, because he's
on my left wrist.
Yeah, okay, because my brother sells watches to like Luke Bryan and people like that. So watches are in my wheelhouse. So he keeps talking about that. So he's letting you know that he knows that you're wearing that watch. Okay. All right, handsome.
Wow.
He's funny. And he liked comic books or something about comics. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. He hand drew cards. For every special occasion.
Oh, this is very cool.
And they were little cartoons of us.
Okay, because he loves that. And he goes, you should make that into an animated short. And he's showing me on a reel that they move. So there's something about a collection of that. Okay, hold on. The number 21 is significant in some way to him. I don't know if it's the 21st or the, he keeps 21. All right, hold
21.
on. Like almost, it was forever young. Forever young.
Yeah.
He keeps singing that song. I know. And your birthday coming up? Whose birthday connected to him? Because he's saying happy birthday.
His mom's birthday's in a few weeks.
Okay, tell her. All right. Tell her, tell her to have the strawberry shortcake for once.
Okay.
It's like this huge ass cake he's showing me, Jack. It's like that big.
Wow.
Okay, handsome. He's so sorry he had to part this way. He has a sister, but not a brother. There's only two of them.
He has a twin sister and an older brother.
That's it. Okay, because he showed me. Okay, so he wants his older brother looked at for the heart thing.
Okay.
To make sure he doesn't have it too.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, I did cardio, but I don't know if it was like Wolf syndrome, but he showed me EKG and stop. Okay. I just have to say, and I know a little bit about your story, but I don't really do deep dive. Is there anything about you being away or someone being away when he crossed?
We were both in St. Louis
Okay,
with my
because
family.
he's
for
talking
the
about being
holidays.
away. He's really sorry it happened there. Can I just tell you?
Oh,
He's like, really, I'm so sorry, Jack, that it had to happen there. Tell them I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love you. I love you. I love you. And he keeps talking about dancing. He's gotten much better at dancing up there. You just need to know. Was there a fight over who would lead? Because he's teasing about that. Do you understand that?
That's funny. I do. And I think he thought more of his dancing abilities than I did. So this makes sense.
Because he's twirling you around.
Yeah.
He loves going to the bench with you. And I don't know if you feed the ducks there, but he's showing mama ducks right now.
I just saw this morning there was geese and baby ducks.
Yeah. He was
and
with
I took
you.
a video of it. Oh my
yes.
God.
And he's like, I was there with you. He said, yeah, feed the babies. They're just, I'll bring them little, like he's just take care of the babies.
Wow.
Okay, show me again, handsome. He's bringing me to Chicago. I don't know why, but we're going to Chicago. You're going to Chicago.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sometime in May of 26. You may be debuting the show. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Something about raspberry or raspberry.
Oh my gosh. He had a blue raspberry vape the day before he passed away. And my sister-in-law, the morning after he passed, saw a crushed blue raspberry popsicle. And ever since then, blue raspberry has been a sign for her.
That's totally a sign from him. Totally a sign from him, he keeps saying.
Wow.
Okay. He thinks this is so cool. He's like, when do you get to talk to a gay medium who gets to talk to it? And I'm like, I know. Uh-huh.
Oh.
He keeps saying thank you to me. And I'm like, it's all good. Was he a furry kind of guy?
Yeah. He had a lot of chest hair.
Because he's like, listen, I want to tell you, when you get your wings, he's like, I'm less furry, and I finally have an ab or two that you can see.
That's hilarious.
Like he's teasing.
That's amazing.
You get the wings and Is there something about his thumb or your thumb or an issue with the thumb? Or
you know what? My right big toe is permanently broken.
That's okay. Because he's trying to make me talk about, like they connect nursing wise or like orthopedics with me. He wants to thank, and this is your friend that has that house blonde and very petite?
This where I'm living? Yes.
Okay, because
Maddie.
Oh, Patty, damn. He showed me pink. Give her my love. Tell her thank you for giving you. This is a good place for you. This is a good place for you. And are you across from a park to your right-hand side when you go out the door? Or was that your apartment with him?
Oh, and our first apartment. Yeah. Yes. We overlooked a playground.
Yeah, he loved that. Yeah, he's all about the kids and just, show me again. Do you ice skate? I'm sorry.
I haven't ice skated in a long time.
You should try it. Okay, show me again. And where is like Costa Rica or someplace Dominican? Like,
we went to Mexico a few months, Sayulita, a few months before he passed. And
how much fun you had?
We had the best time.
So please think of him like when he's not around, he's in Mexico. He just says, what I'm so glad we had that time together, that we got to, sow our wild oats, have a great time.
Yeah.
Was there something about spearfishing or fishing or something about catching a fish there? I don't know.
There wasn't any fishing, but he did get a tattoo while we were there.
Is that
of a wave of water?
Of water. You know what he's showing me? Like he's talking about like, and I'm like, is that like you're spearfishing? Like he kept showing me something like that. And I'm like, I've never seen that, Jack. Okay. Yeah. The big wave, catch the wave. He keeps talking about that.
Yeah. Yes.
But was he in Hawaii at one time?
Maybe when he was younger, but maybe with his family. But
you're going to go too. He's like,
he did love Kona Big Wave beer.
That's
Kona Big Wave beer, and we had a sign in our apartment. Big Wave. Yes.
This is what he's saying.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Go have a Kona for me. And I'm like, I can't, Jack, I have celiac, but I'll get a gluten-free beer and kick it back for you, buddy. Now, he hears you and he loves all the work that you're doing. And he's so proud of you, so proud of you. Tell him that. It's okay. You got a new bed. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
He keeps saying. And you have, okay, well, show me again. Was he a seamstress that would like sew pillows or sew like anything? Because he keeps talking about sewing and he's so glad he got sewed or sewing. I don't.
He did not sew himself, but my final gift from him was a pillow. He had someone else sew for me.
Shit. Okay. Yeah. Squeeze the pillow, talk to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, show me again, Jack. Tell my family I love them. Tell them, Jack, I'm okay. He wants to talk about, is there a Gracie or a Gra sounding name like a Gra, like a, I almost wanted to say Gracie. There's a female connected to him, grandmother figure, who is, hold on. I know Mary's a common name, but it's an M-A. Who is that?
He has his mom's older sister Mickey, who's she's his grandmother was Mary. And is crossed.
He's with Mary.
Yeah.
Mary sending her love to everybody and just let them know that I'm taking care of Jack, that he's okay. Is there a Doug or a Douglas or a D? This would be his grandfather's side.
Okay, and I'm not sure if
that's okay. Yeah, well, leave you. Something about there's a guy in an army uniform next to Mary.
Oh my gosh, he was named after his great uncle who passed in World War II.
That's it. Yeah, he's there. I can see him in the uniform. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay,
wow.
Show me again, Jack. He's having so much fun with this. Can I just tell you? He's working heaven, the room, and he's like passing the microphone. Tell them all that we're here. And I'm like, how much fun is this? And he loves to hang out by the water. Who has the house by water? Because I'm there.
Yeah, his parents have lived near the water for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he likes to go up to the third floor on the lookout. And I don't know if they have a telescope or something.
It's not their house, but it's a house we went to often in Nantucket. We'd go up to the lookout.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a photo of the two of us up there.
Yes. He loves that. So go ahead. Show me again, Jack. I know. He's making me look good today, Jack. I just have to say. This
is wild.
He keeps talking. Okay. Did he have the tattoo put here?
He had a cross right there. That was his first tattoo.
Yeah, he talks about the tattoo there. So it's his symbol for saying thank you for the prayers and lighting the candles. And yeah, there's a big guy up there that makes us do stuff. But there's an energy. I'll just call it that. And he wants you to get into a little more trouble.
Okay. That I can do.
He's giving you a little permission there. And I say that like he's lovingly saying, I'm okay. I thank you for honoring me. He's going to play Yenta with you. I'm just saying. He's going to play matchmaker and bring somebody into your life who is worthy to walk in your light. So just know that, okay? That's his gift to you. And you talked about children.
Yes.
You will be a father, is what he's saying. You will be a father. He said that you're gonna be such a great papa is the word he used. So I don't know, but he said that will happen in your life. That will happen, Jack. Don't you worry. Take that old dusty jacket out of the cedar closet and get rid of it. I don't know what the hell that is. You just showed me an image.
I have a ton of his jackets.
Okay, start donating some of that stuff is what I'm taking from that, Jack. Okay.
Okay.
But I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm okay. And he thanks you for loving him and honoring him this way.
Thank you.
I'm starting to feel his energy pull back. Yes. Oh. He came at me hard.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's it
I
sounds like
couldn't, I couldn't stop him, Jack. Like
yeah.
he tapped into the music thing, and was not stopping. And I'm sorry if I
Amazing.
kind of shocked you because
No,
he's shocking me a
I
little.
loved I understand it, and that's his energy, so I'm not
Whoosh.
surprised. And
Phew.
and I loved every minute of that. That was truly incredible, and I needed it. I needed it. So
Good. It's
thank
good.
you.
Well, to know that he's with you at the bench and he's talking about the babies there
Yeah.
and feed the babies because
Yeah.
you have the biggest heart.
Wow.
And those are ways that they let us know that they're with us, that our journey of grief and losing somebody, the way that they explain it to me on the other side, Jack, is like, I am straddling a doorway and I'm here talking to you, and then he says something, and then I'm back here, and it's like that. It's a dimension within a dimension of where they are for us. And, string theory, quantum mechanics, I'm a bit of a science geek, kind of explains it that way, that they're just in that other dimension. I have been blessed to see the soul leaving the body, which was just remarkable with a family member of mine. And their soul, as Albert Einstein talks about, energy can't be destroyed. It's only changed in its form. And so Jack has taken on a different form of energy, but is still around you and still connecting with your family and his family. Oh my God, his family, and he loves how your parents and everybody has continued your family for for however long your family. And so I just, I thank you for sharing your grief story. I know this isn't the last time you and I are going to chat, and I say that lovingly.
Yes.
I've threatened to come up to the bench, and
Yes, I hope you do. I would love to
do
meet
a
you
little
at the
something
bench.
together. But I just want to
Yes.
thank you for all of your time and energy today and sharing your story with us about Jack. And before we go, how you're taking the On the Bench series to YouTube. Share with me what that's like, Jack.
Yes. Thank you. So I started interviewing friends and family at the bench and asking them about their grief. And so I've only done 3 of them now, but I've posted them to YouTube, and I'm going to continue it once a week. And eventually I'd like to start meeting with, people I don't know and asking strangers, everyday New Yorkers, who are you grieving? I'd love for people to check it out, and
So
I'm excited to see where it goes.
What's the title for it, Jack?
It's Bench Chat with Jack.
Bench Chat with Jack on YouTube.
Mhm.
I think this is
Yes.
wonderful. His
Thank
bench
you.
has become, it was a symbol of love. It continues to be a symbol of love. And now you get to share the not only your journey on grief, but also with other people that are grieving, and talk about the healing that you're doing. It's just beautiful. It really is.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
wish you all the very best on this. Again, thank you
Thank
for
you.
being my guest on Mediumship Moments. Before we go, I know I got you verklempt. Do you have a mediumship moment about Jack?
I had a dream probably 6 months after he passed that just felt very real. It felt like it was him coming to me. And I haven't dreamt about him since then, but we were sitting in our apartment, and I just looked over and saw him, and I said, you shouldn't be here. I knew that he shouldn't be there, that he was gone. And he just got up and walked over and hugged me. And I just remember squeezing him tight, and it felt like I was just holding him for hours. And when I woke up, it felt like he had been right there with me. It felt like I got one last hug, and it's all I needed, but it felt so real.
Oh, thank you for sharing that personal moment.
Yeah,
That they
of
often
course.
come to us in our dreams. Well, those that are, and people ask me that, why am I not dreaming of my loved one? It's all about that the grief journey. When you're at a point to receive that kind of connection, and having that one last hug, that was just beautiful. That I'm so glad you got that from Jack. Again, I can't thank you enough, Jack. You're a beautiful person inside and out.
Oh,
And I thank you for being a guest on Mediumship Moments and sharing Jack with us today. And as
thank you so much.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. And as I always say, keep chatting with your angels because they can hear you.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time for another episode of Mediumship Moments. If you enjoyed this episode of Kim's podcast, check her out on Instagram and TikTok at Kim Durham Medium.